Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CrackBerry podcast for Thursday, May 15th, 2014, episode 116.
Hey everybody! Woo! CrackBerry Kevin here. Joined today, kicking it old school with Adam Zeiss.
Hi, friends. How are you?
And Blaze.
Howdy.
Clean-shaven Blaze.
Very clean-shaven Blaze.
I know.
And I'm very excited. It's been a little while since we recorded a CrackBerry podcast. I believe our last one was our New York special edition, kind of vodcast thing with Adam, myself, and Jubei.
That is correct.
Where we were talking about the BlackBerry experience. But it's been a while since we've done a straight-up podcast. So that's it. It's today. It's May 15th, and this is going to be a bit of our BlackBerry Z3 review show. But we have a lot of other stuff to talk about too. We got some device things and some OS things like 10.3 and 10.3.1 and Windermere and clearing up the confusion there that's been surfacing in the blogs and forums. And other stuff that'll surely come up on the show as we go on various tangents. So Adam Zeiss, why don't you dive into the Z3 review or Z3 review, since you're the guy who did
I've
the
actually been calling it Z3 because everybody I come in contact with is like Z3. Like when I was in New York for the briefing on it, they're like, oh, it's the Z3. And you guys all say Z3. So I'm like, I can't get away from it.
We Canadianized you.
It's terrible.
Or just non-Americanized you. I think the rest of the world says Z3.
It's Z3 for sure.
A.
So this is the Z3.
For sure, eh?
For sure, eh?
I must be all messed up because I'll either say Z3 or Z3 and not really notice the difference. I'll be like Z.
I always say Z first now, and it's pretty terrible. And totally, see, I'm off on a tangent already. There's a show that Cassidy watches called Zoo, Z-O-U, which is about a zebra. And the song at the beginning, they call him a zebra. They don't say a zebra. They said it's about a zebra named Zoo. And it's like, what?
Oh.
So I don't know
Who in the world says zebra? That's crazy.
The guy that sings the Zoo theme song does. Anyway, this is the BlackBerry Z3, which is actually available today in Indonesia.
It's glorious.
This is the regular unleaded version, but there is actually a Jakarta edition, which says Jakarta on the back up top. But overall, it's a pretty badass device. I mean, it doesn't compare to the specs inside of the Z30 or the Z10 or the Q10 for that matter. But overall, I actually dig the feel of this one a lot. I wish I could take the guts out of the Z30 and stick them in here because it's like a rock, and I feel like I could beat the crap out of it and it would still be kicking.
I'm going to stop right there because that's a pretty big statement so I've got a lot of hardware kicking around these days, from all our phones. But of the big touchscreen devices lately, I've got the Galaxy S5 here, the HTC One M8, and of course the Z30. And I think the Z30 is the best feeling phone of the bunch of all these sort of bigger touchscreens. So for you to say the Jakarta feels even better than the Z30, you got to give me the reasons why. I've only held it once for a few seconds back in Barcelona at Mobile World Congress. But give me the words.
It's tough. I mean, I just feel it's not really. It feels a little bit lighter than the Z30, though it's not really. It's like legitimately like 6 grams lighter, I think. But just I guess, see how the Z30 is like kind of rounded off, and it's got that kind of rubbery back on it. But this it's just one solid piece. There's no removable back on it. And it just feels way more durable. Like if I drop this, I feel like it's, the corners are going to get busted up like every other device, or the back's going to pop off or something like that. But this one, just the way it is, I mean, it's pretty much one piece all the way around, and it just feels like super durable.
Is there any grip on the back, or is it slippery?
Yeah, I mean, it's got this texture on it. It's almost basically, it's like kind of the same as the Z10. It's not as rubbery, but like the pattern, hard to explain, like the pattern's a little bit bigger. So it's got like that same grid texture, but these are a little like more spaced out. But and this is more hard plastic than just rubber. Okay. But I mean, it's like, I forget what device it was that I had, but there was one of the old, like my 9700 or something, where I just felt like I didn't need a case on it, and I could just toss it around and like throw it wherever I wanted and never think twice about it breaking, and like that's.
So I will say that Mrs. Crackberry has thrown the 9700 at me like full out
multiple times.
multiple times, and also missed me and hit the wall. And you can throw that phone around and not break it. So,
exactly. Point and case.
That's a good selling feature. Love it.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, like, I mean, the specs are all out there, and they're not the greatest specs, but it runs BlackBerry 10 extremely well. It's got the big bright screen on the front of it, like the Z30. With a little finagling for the pixel density and stuff like that. And the battery's awesome. It's got the 2,500 milliamp hour battery in it, and the Z30 is not that much, I don't think. I don't remember.
Yeah, not that much.
No, it's like a couple hundred less. I forget what the exact number is, but
2080.
it's like 2,300, I think. I could probably just pull it back off and look at it. But anyway, so I like this guy because I mean, it's supercharged, and like the Q10, like it'll just rock out through the whole day, even though it's got this big old screen on it. The battery's that much bigger, and it'll just keep you supercharged and pumped up. So it's super nice, and typing on it and everything, and the USB port's down on the bottom there, and not awkwardly placed on the side. So I mean, just overall.
Oh yeah, that's a huge. Actually, Adam, the Z30 has 2880 milliamp hours.
So I was totally wrong on that.
That's why we fact check, but
that's why we help each other out, and we don't throw each other under the bus.
Nobody gets thrown under the bus around here anymore.
Not at CrackBerry. How could we?
We love each other so much.
That's right.
I'm a huge fan
I've been thrown over by the bus so many times. I'm just a carcass.
Yeah, we can't get thrown anymore because I'm just a permanent fixture on the road.
You're a stain on the road.
You should also note that the reason why the battery is so exceptional is because no LTE.
Right. Right. Yeah, you're gonna have lots of battery life.
Then it's like going back to like a bold 9000 anyway. And hopefully
that battery's gonna last all week.
Right.
Okay, so wait, so one thing first. So you mentioned the micro USB is now at the bottom center of the phone.
Correct.
So I'm a huge fan of that a lot. One of the primary reasons is like when you're typing on the phone and it's charging, it's just less awkward because the cable is like centered bottom and out of the way of your two hands working versus when it juts out the side. So that's I like that. Also at night when you're like fuddling around trying to like find the you want to just stick it in the hole at night with your eyes closed, and it's much easier when it's in that position, I found.
Absolutely. And the only drawback, too, which I noted, like I love the fact that that's down there, but the one drawback for me is that the power button is also up on the left-hand side. So like on the Z30, it's up on the top, and then the volume buttons are on the right, but all these buttons are all on the one side because the slot for the SIM card and the micro SD card are on this side. So it's a little awkward. I mean, because all the phones I have, even like my Nexus 5 and other ones, it's either I'm hitting with my index finger or I'm hitting it with my thumb here. So having it over on the other side here is just a little more difficult. But
wait, where's the volume button?
What's that? The volume buttons are underneath the power button, so everything's over here. So even
it's black, they're not from there.
You know the reason for that though, right? It's kind of like how cars. It's kind of like how cars in London drive on the other side of the road. In Indonesia, they like their buttons on the left side. So that's a local market, custom tailorization that you're just not appreciating.
No, I'm not saying I don't appreciate it. It just takes me a while to get used to it. But I'm open to other customs and things. So if that's how they do it, then that's totally fine.
I just made that up, but that you didn't question it. It's pretty.
I was trying not to throw you under the bus because that's not what we do here at CrackBerry. But I mean, overall, like I said, it's a really cool device. I think it's going to be awesome in Indonesia, and then it's going to end up in other places in the Asian regions too, but it's not going to end up here. But hopefully we'll get the LTE version at some point. Well, that's my story. Do you have
are there any? So I mean, price is a big question here because I know BlackBerry came out sort of positioning this as their low-cost phone built specifically for the Indonesian market. What's the price, and do you feel it's low cost enough, or is it more mid-range given what else is on the market right now?
They say it's low cost. I mean, I don't know what the Indonesian number is, but it comes out to like $191 or something like that in US dollars. And it's they say like it's low cost, but it's more mid cost, I think, because something like a $99 or $150 even would be low cost in my eyes, but. So
what were some of those? I'm thinking back to was it Bla1ze? Was it the Lumia 525 you could pick up for like $90 or something like that? So how does that?
In the Moto G and the brand new Moto E.
So how do those stack up feature-wise and price-wise? Are they on par? Different?
when it comes to specs, they're pretty much on par. It's just it goes back to that old age scenario. Which ecosystem has the better one? Which one do you want to invest in?
Okay. Very cool. What else, Adam? You could rock it yourself.
Yeah, I've been using it. I picked it up Friday, and I switched over. I was actually using the Z10 at that point, but I switched over to it, and it's nice. I mean, I really, I always like a phone that you can hold, because obviously, like, guys like us really don't ever put our phones down for the most part. So I just like, something that you can just have in your hand and hold, and it's not awkward. And like I said, I'm not afraid to drop it, and I'm not worried about putting a case on it, and the battery's going to last me. It definitely gets me through at least a day, but I'm sure I could stretch it out way more than that. The screen's nice. It doesn't really have much lag or anything to it, and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's just overall, I really dig it.
Does it come in white? Because that's
Not yet, but actually, I don't know that it ever will.
Really?
Maybe they'll have the CrackBerry Kevin edition, and it'll say CrackBerry Kevin in the top corner, and it'll be white.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be pretty amazing.
Rock that
ridiculous
phone.
at the same time.
Cool. No, I mean, the review you posted, if people haven't read it yet, go to crackberry.com/BlackBerry-Z3-review. It's a very beautiful looking article or review
Desktop.
on your desktop or mobile browser. It's a little messed up in the CB10 app because we have to do some tweaking there, but we will get that done. So thanks for the patience, anybody who's trying to read it in the app. But really, a review of this magnificent glory should be viewed on as big a display as possible. So go to your computer or pull it up on your TV, something. Just take it in.
Make it happen.
I think that's a good coverage of the Z3. What do you want to move on to next?
Well, I think we can talk about the next OS update that we have in store, since we've been hearing quite a bit about it lately.
Which is all kind of a messed up scenario in its own.
Everything's a little jumbled at the moment, but the next big update is going to be OS. Well, the next OS, whether it's an update or not, we'll decide, but it's going to be 10.3, and we've been hearing a lot of things. Michael Cooley went on a whole thing last week where he posted all different kind of features, and then again today we posted up the whole list of, I think it was 18 things that are coming in OS 10.3. And they did a post on the BlackBerry blog yesterday because the 10.3 OS SDK came out, and it was kind of confusing, but the short story is that new hardware devices, meaning the BlackBerry Classic and an unnamed device, are going to have OS 10.3 when they launch, and then other devices like the Z10, Z30, after the fact, they're basically going to skip plain old 10.3, and they're going to go to 10.3.1, and then we'll get an upgrade. So it's kind of confusing, and the way they explained it was mildly confusing, but hopefully people understand at some point. So they will get the 10.3 update, but they're going to get skipped on kind of the first bout, and the Classic is what's going to be the first device with 10.3.
Well, so Windermere.
Or the Windermere.
Windermere.
See? That's how confusing it is.
Son of a bitch.
The Windermere that they basically announced but never really officially announced yesterday by saying that they have a 1440 by 1440 device, and nothing beyond that is going to be the first device with BlackBerry 10.3. So everybody will be rushing out to buy that device. It will come with 10.3, but your Z10, your Q10, your Q5, your Z30 are all going to be left on 10.2.1 for a little bit of time, and then they will automatically just make the jump to 10.3.1 after 10.3 issued on the Windermere.
Yeah, what he said.
So what's new in 10.3 that users should get excited about beyond 10.2.1 that we're using today?
Well, there's a lot of cosmetic changes for one. It has a whole nicer UI. You don't have those ugly icons anymore. I should probably refrain from saying ugly because some people actually do like them and some people actually don't like the new ones. But in any case,
well, let's take a vote.
You're getting a new set of icons, and they'll be flatter and they'll be prettier and they'll have more color to them. You'll be able to create folders, like endless amounts of folders, so there's no longer a limit on the folder anymore. You can access the quick settings menu from the drop down, because you know how like sometimes when you're in an app and you need to access the settings menu, but then you realize you need to actually leave the app in order to be able to access the settings menu. You can't just swipe down. Well, a two-finger swipe will bring down the settings menu no matter where you are in the operating system. You can just automatically drag it down with two fingers, and you have access to the settings. So
Brilliant.
yeah, you don't have to exit out of whatever app or game it is that you're in to be able to access the settings. Another thing that I hugely appreciate, there's going to be a download all option for the attachments. So if you get 15 different pictures, previously you had to tap on each one in order to be able to go ahead and download it. That's no longer applicable. You'll just be able to click on download all, and they'll all go into that nice attachment tab that everybody knows now within the operating system. So you can view all of the attachments, all 15 attachments. They'll just all download at once. They're bringing back the BlackBerry OS feature where you can actually, delete the original text, and you could reply, and if it was like one of Kevin's long 15,000 word emails, you can actually just wipe out that and send off your email message, like if you only wanted to reference one point in the conversation or anything like that. So you can delete previous text in the email.
I'm really excited about endless folders and being able to cram more apps into folders.
Yeah, that's a good option. You can also file your sent messages, so that's another feature of BlackBerry OS that's making its way back into the operating system finally. A lot of the stuff is actually based on BlackBerry OS, but the filing of the sent messages, if you send a message, it always should just go to your outbox or whatever the case may be. But now you can actually just put it into your sent messages in case you ever need to refer to it, or you just want to know specifically that it was sent. You get your weekly agenda calendar view, which offers a whole look at your whole week, basically. So you can see everything, all the meetings and appointments and schedules that you have set up. You can also the settings menu. You know how you can rearrange, like in the drop down menu with the two fingers swipe down or whatever. You know how you can arrange those. Well, they're bringing that option to the settings menu as well. So so like if for example, you always want your network information at the top, network and connections rather than airplane mode as it is now. You can move network and connections up to the top and move airplane mode all the way down to the bottom, whatever the case may be, however you want to set it up.
Customization, always the power users, request. You can never have too much of it, so that's looking good. No, I mean, Adam, there's a great, Adam posted a great overview of 10.3 on the site, so people should hit up crackberry.com if they haven't yet, and they're listening and they want the full blow by point detail, and they can get that all there. But all in all, it's a really big update, and I think a pretty good one. I mean, is there, looking beyond 10.3, is there a lot of stuff that's on your hit list that you're desperately wanting, or does it feel like the work is done?
I think for me personally, I think they solved a lot of the problems that were, big issues that I really wanted to have. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. Some of this stuff that I sent, I have a bit of self-satisfaction in knowing that it has arrived because of the amount of emails that I've sent complaining about it. So
we're gonna fix this just for Blaze.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I don't want to say that it was stuff that I put in there or anything like that. But I'm saying a lot of this stuff is stuff that we all complained about, and it's finally there, and I take some satisfaction knowing that it has arrived.
Look, a lot of people think we're only BlackBerry fans, but the truth is we're probably over the years the harshest critics as well, which is good. Somebody has to fill that role from a tactful standpoint. So, just like that time they fixed the alarm clock bedside mode for Kevin and BB10 within a week.
Because you whined so much about it.
I told him I wouldn't use a phone if it wasn't fixed. I'm like, this thing is not going to work. I can't go to bed at night with a BB10 phone if I can't put on bedside mode and still have the phone ring. Too funny.
Long story short, there's a lot of stuff that's in there, and there's probably even more that we don't even necessarily know about that nobody actually, really felt the need to filter to the top and say, hey, we changed this as well. So it's kind of like one of those things where you're going to go through it, you're going to find new stuff, it's going to be awesome, and you'll be like, hey, check out this. I didn't know this was 10.3.
All I know is earlier this week, I got the itch. I guess it was maybe on Sunday, Mother's Day. I was gonna go out to my parents' house, and the weather was nice, and I'm like, I need a white phone, right? So I looked around my box of gadgets, and immediately I saw the Bold 9900, which to me is still one of the hottest looking phones ever. And I'm like, oh, I'll rock BB7 today. Let's do it. It didn't go so well. I mean, I felt it's really weird because if you go back in the number of years we've been rocking BlackBerry phones, climbing up from OS 4 point whatever all the way up, and now to go back down to BB7 after using BB10. It just feels, it was hard to do. I was going to do it for a week, and I lasted about 6 hours or 7 hours, I think, total before I went back to BB10. Luckily, this is also a very hot phone, possibly hotter now that I think about it. But it was interesting, So I mean, when BB10 first came out, I mean, there were quite a few complaints from people that, well, it wasn't feature-rich yet enough. I'm going to stick with BB7. But after doing that switch back, that, downgrade, BB10 is miles ahead. I mean, light years ahead in terms of the overall experience. And whether it's things like, just the touchscreen interface and how it works, it just feels so much more fluid and powerful. The app experience, the web browser, the overall speed, I mean, there's no comparison. What was interesting was having a trackpad again for for a little while there, knowing that the Classic's going to have the trackpad. And that was maybe the one thing where I was like, well, I could see why people are missing it, right? And I've gotten really used to just not having the trackpad around, but it gives you it sort of locks you into the experience. Like, it's more click, click, click as you go through. Like, it's not as flowy. You don't just tap anywhere you want. You have more structure to your navigation. But then after a little bit, it just becomes such a one-handed experience again. And I think that is something that is incredibly valuable, right, is when you can just rock the phone one hand with that trackpad. So I'm actually looking forward to BlackBerry Classic, which will have the trackpad and BB10. I think for a lot of people that will be, who aren't yet satisfied with BB10, that's going to be their utopian BlackBerry device. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, BB10 rocks.
Yeah. That was Kevin's rant on BB10.
We're all very
loquacious
today. Loquacious.
What?
I don't know. Dan Rubino
called me that.
Loquacious.
Don't use damn words on our podcast.
And I was like, what's that mean? It means you talk a lot, or you're not very succinct and to the point. So I'm like, shut up, Dan. But
I always get to the point. But it's funny, I mean, just on that topic, I still have a 9930, and I use it every now and then. I actually bring it out on the weekend sometimes because I still feel like, for me, there's no other tool, like even my Q10, where I can just pump out replies to emails like super quick. I mean, I don't really use it for a whole lot else, but I still love the keyboard on it. And if emails come in, when I'm standing in the line at the supermarket or something like that, I can just pound straight out and not have to think twice about it. So I like it, but it's definitely, some days I wish I could use it because I still really love the device and I like the OS, but it's so far back now I can't sync my multiple Google calendars and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices, which is kind of a drag because part of me wants to love it. So.
Now, what's mind-blowing?
Someone come into the forums and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't really like BlackBerry 10 right now," or they're not loving their phone at the moment. And I'm just like, go back to a BlackBerry 7 device and see how freaking fast you switch back to a BlackBerry 10 device.
So what's
mind-blowing? Bet you won't last an hour.
What's mind-blowing to me is that BlackBerry is currently selling more BB7 phones than BlackBerry 10 phones. Because I'm like, you're on crazy pills, people. Like, buy the BB10 phones. Clearly, they're way better.
Yeah,
and I get that some of the business users are, they have to buy what their BES supports, which might not be BB10 and it might only be BB7 phones. But I'm like, really? BB7 should not be outselling BB10 given how far ahead BB10 is right now. Yeah. What else are we talking about today, Adam? What do you want to cover?
Um, I don't know.
Can I talk about how it's normally BlackBerry Live week and we should be in Orlando getting drunk because it's Thursday and this should be the end of the day and we should be getting our game on?
Am I talking about it or are you talking about it?
We're all talking about it now.
It's funny because I used this app called Time Hop, which I've used for ages, and it basically takes in all your Facebook posts and Foursquare and Twitter updates and everything from like all the way back, and then every day it sends you an update and says this is what you did 1 year ago, this is what you did 2 years ago. And for the last like week and a half or 2 weeks, going back, 4 or 5 years, it's like, hey, I'm at Newark Airport, I'm on my way to Orlando, or hey, I'm at the lobby bar, like, hey, I'm here. And it's fun because it's, I guess all the Wez and BlackBerry Live ones were kind of spaced out by weeks, so it's like each week was a different year that we were there. And then leading up to this week, which I think was actually the week we were there last year. But if you remember, Kevin, I'm not sure that you do, but we actually celebrated your birthday on the last Thursday of BlackBerry Live last year with the get together.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does.
I do remember the surprise birthday party that BlackBerry threw me, which was easily one of the most shocking, memorable, awesome moments of my life. Because
it was amazing.
I mean, I'm a pretty hard guy to trick, right? Like my brain's like, if things are going on, I'm gonna spot them. But I was completely shocked when I thought I had a meeting. Well, I did have a meeting because I scheduled it, and then we went to the meeting room, and it turned out to be like a lot of people from BlackBerry, and all you guys were in there. The CrackBerry team was in there, and happy birthday! And it was a surprise birthday party. At which point, I pretty much lost my words, choked up, cried. Torsten Heinz had to walk up and tell me to quit being a sissy and quit the cheers bit. Had an awesome BlackBerry birthday cake, which was like worked. I think it rang, which was amazing. I put up a blog post on CrackBerry with it today because we're sort of reliving some of our favorite, BlackBerry Live moments this week from years gone by, or BlackBerry World moments, or Wez Wireless Enterprise Symposium moments. But for me personally, the surprise birthday party is like just so amazing, and I think it shows that BlackBerry is more than a company. It is a family, and there's a lot of just amazing people who worked there and worked there, still work there. Over the years, who care a lot about their users, care a lot about the CrackBerry community, which is just amazing. So I don't think there's a lot of other companies out there in the world that would do the same thing for their media fan sites that cover them the way BlackBerry did, which is amazing. But I'm still missing BlackBerry Live this year because obviously we're all home, we're not together. So I think we're gonna.
Hell, man. I need something to do.
Yay,
well,
birthday.
Thank you, Adam. It's a little early, but May 16th is my birthday. Another year
old. We're not
old.
going to be recording a podcast tomorrow, so I figure that today we should have a birthday party.
Now, you know what's really funny? I thought I was 34 turning 35, but it turns out I'm 33 turning 34, so I'm not even that sad about it. I've just been lying to people all year, telling them I'm a year older than I actually was.
Wow.
So I don't even know how that happened. But seriously, I was like, really? I'm only 33? That's not too bad.
Not sure how I feel about that. It's a little awkward.
It's a little awkward, but whatever.
I look at Kevin, and Kevin's like a year older than me, and I feel so unaccomplished. I've done nothing with my life.
Dude, you're Blaze.
You came back to the CrackBerry community, and that's all that.
Blaze, you're like an entity. You're like Cher, Blaze.
You're like your own brand.
Yeah.
Blaze.
You're like a Brangelina, but I'm not.
Except not.
Except not. You're way better.
Anyway.
Wait, there's other things. So we're not doing BlackBerry Live, but
I wasn't gonna end the podcast right there.
Oh, I thought you were.
Jeez. Tough crowd.
Well, Adam, talk about Montreal.
Well, I was going to get to that. I was actually going to say that in honor of your birthday, there was a CB10 app update that came out.
Yes.
I don't know if it was really in honor of your birthday or not, but it was the community giving back because we kind of sent off the CB10 app because a lot of people wanted these awesome features. So we said, hey, if you want to make it awesome, make it awesome. And they did.
We've had some great developers join into the fold, pushing the development further, and there's more to happen. And it's really great, so we thank them a lot. And it's helping us to get the work done faster than we can on our own. So yeah, no, CB10, go update it if you haven't yet, and we'll have more updates on the way because we have to fix that Z3 review, Adam, so it looks better in there.
Well, we need to fix a lot of, not even just the Z3 review. It's pretty much every article they put out that uses that. So
quiet.
Save it for the tech call, Blaze, not the CrackBerry podcast. We know all of our problems. We're only supposed to talk about one at a time. No, I'm kidding.
In other news,
it's true.
The BlackBerry-sponsored Mercedes F1 team has been doing pretty amazing. In only my second year following F1, I'm already super excited because they make up for the other teams that I support that totally suck. So on that note, we're actually making an adventure to Montreal for race weekend, which is the first weekend in June, the weekend of June 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm driving up with one of my buddies here from Jersey. We're going to go up, and then Kevin's going to fly out.
Yeah, James Faulkner is going to fly out. Blaze, if you can pay for your ticket, you can fly out because we're all paying our own way there. But,
I'll pick you up on the way there.
probably cheaper.
You get there, I'll buy your ticket, Blaze, because I think our grandstand. I looked at the tickets. We're only going to the Sunday race.
Yeah.
But I think it's general admission into that one grandstand, so we're gonna have to get there early to get good spots. But I don't think you have to worry about specific seat numbers, which is good.
So we're going to be there, and we got some plans in the works, but we're going to have a CrackBerry meetup on one of the evenings so we can make it fun. We've actually already had quite a few responses of people that are interested, so it should be pretty good. I guess we have a lot of CrackBerry fans in Montreal. So
I think we should have 2 meetups. On Friday, we should go karting and then eating and drinking wherever we can. And then Sunday after the race, we should walk into the casino that's near there and then do like another meetup at the casino, lunch afterwards or something.
Amazing.
Yep, it's going to be good.
It's going to be a fun weekend. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I haven't been away, and it's kind of making up for the lack of BlackBerry Live, so now I actually have some place to travel to, so it should be good.
It's true. And, think about all of those bachelor party memories we have from your weekend there a few years ago.
What are you talking about? Did you go to a bachelor party there?
I believe I went to Adam's Ice's bachelor party in Montreal.
I don't know that I've ever been to Montreal.
Is your wife listen to these podcasts?
I don't remember. Oh, she knows I went to not Montreal.
But okay.
Anyway, how's that bus? Good. So I don't know that there's a whole lot else. I mean, there's some other rumblings of things, and we're just kind of waiting out now for the excitement of new devices and new OSs, which we'll hopefully see in the next couple months.
I'm super excited. No, it's kind of interesting right now because obviously we're covering all the app stuff. There is some news. There's not a huge news cycle around BlackBerry at the moment, but there's also nothing horribly bad happening, which is kind of makes me happy. We've gone through these weird cycles, and whenever there's like an earnings report, then that's when it like seems to take a bad thing and we get all depressed. So I think right now I'm super excited. New phone, Z3 is here. Looks good. We know phones are coming, which we love. OS is getting better. I'm having a good experience on my phones. It's fun. Like I've been jumping back and forth with a bunch of devices, and when I switch to anything else, it's like I miss features on BB10, which is the way it used to be years ago too, right? When I would switch from BB7 to whatever the state of iOS or Android was at the time, and for a little bit there, it was like, I was okay on everything. I could get by with whatever, and now I'm like, oh no, there's things in the BB10 experience that are just better and sticky and make you want the phone, which is good.
Yes.
Keep getting the apps, keep getting the support, keep marketing, or start marketing again when the time is right is more so the thing there. Let's get her done.
Is there anything exciting happening at Mobile Nations in the near future that we should look out for?
June, Fitness Month, we're doing it. It's not announced yet, but you heard it here, maybe first.
Are there any contests or anything that people can get in on if they're feeling like they want to win some cool stuff?
Connectedly, they should head over to Connectedly, our connected devices, accessories, Internet of Things, wearables community, which everybody's going to pitch in on. Adam, you're managing day-to-day stuff there, and I'm going to get ramped up in there too because it's so exciting. And while things are quiet on CrackBerry, we can do lots of stuff there too because I only have one speed and it's full speed ahead.
But we're not neglecting CrackBerry, so whatever people think, it's not true.
No,
Some
well, that
people have called you out, right? Because they think that you're neglecting CrackBerry and that you've changed.
Yeah, didn't we talk about this in the New York podcast or not?
No.
Maybe I'll do an
I think
article
this was
on
after the New York podcast. People need to know that you still care.
Okay, so here, I'm going to maybe write this out, but I will give you my verbal delivery of the editorial, which I will call... Whoa, look at that. All of a sudden the sun hit me and I lit up like an angel here. Ta-da!
Think hard, because whatever you title this right now, that's going to be the name of this podcast. So make sure you think hard before you throw it out.
The many seeds of BlackBerry passion.
Done.
But I thought I talked about this already. So look, here's the thing where I get...
You did, but nobody listens.
You need to rehash it.
So people who've followed CrackBerry since the beginning, they know me well, they know me in person. Those people don't give me a hard time, right? The people who maybe have become members in the last year or two, etc., and all they've seen of Kevin is like growing my hair out for BB10 and being the fanboy role. They're like, oh my God, Kevin picked up a phone different than a BlackBerry. What the hell? He's a traitor, blah, blah, blah. Those people just don't have the full story. So I don't get mad when that accusation happens, because it's not, necessarily their fault. They're just not educated yet. So here's the way I look at it. For me personally, and I've seen this with other people, everybody has their reasons why they like BlackBerry. Recently we did that call for writers, and I still need to follow up with some more people because I'm just horribly bad at following up when I have 50 things to do. Different story. Even in those emails from people, saying, hey, I want to write for CrackBerry, you read through the reasons why they love BlackBerry, and they vary a lot. For some people, it's like, I just hate Apple, so I love BlackBerry. For others, it's like, BlackBerry is my first smartphone, I think it's amazing. For others, it's, the security is what matters the most. For others, it's different things. There's a lot of reasons why people love BlackBerry. Now, for me personally, I've had a lot of reasons to love BlackBerry and like BlackBerry and sometimes dislike BlackBerry over the years, and those seeds of passion have evolved and changed. When I got my first BlackBerry in 2005, I thought the thing was ugly as hell. I didn't know it was made by a Canadian company called Research in Motion. I just knew it was called a BlackBerry. I didn't even use it the first couple days because I was like, I don't know. I had a Samsung flip phone at the time. It was good enough. But then I started to pick up the BlackBerry, and I'm like, holy smokes, this thing's amazing. And for me, what it was at that point was I went from a flip phone to a device which connected me to the internet 24/7. So to my email, to my BBM contacts, which I quickly grew a few of them. So for me, the first thing that made me love BlackBerry was being connected. Backstory on that. I grew up in Gimli, Manitoba, Canada, rural town. When I was young and the internet starts to ramp up, when we first got in our town, we had like 6 internet lines to call into. Okay, I used to like fight for dial-up access on my 2400 baud rate modem. When I'd get online, I would pray that there wasn't a power failure or the computer crashed, because if I lost my line, it might be 2 days before I get on the internet again. When I'd come home from school, I would just be on the internet all the time. I loved being connected at that early age because, again, think about growing up in a bit of an isolated place. Once you get connected, the world gets a lot bigger. And for me, I was always an internet kid growing up through my, through my teens into my 20s. If there's a computer, I just want to be in front of it because that's how I access the internet in a much bigger world than what I was used to. When I got my BlackBerry, what happened was I got connected everywhere, right? This was the device that now gave me the internet in my pocket, and that's what I fell in love with because I'm just a guy who likes to be connected. So, if a different company had given me that phone, and I mean, obviously the Palm Trio was around, and I had used some Pocket PCs and things before, maybe I would have fallen in love with a different company at first. But for me, I got that BlackBerry. I think they did a better job with the push email and stuff of giving you that truly always on, always connected experience, which actually was one of their trademark taglines for selling the devices at that time. And that's what I fell in love with. Apps weren't part of the story back then. I fell in love with the keyboard a little bit, but I didn't know other things at that point, right? So it was about being connected. Then it became a bit about being productive. Security, I didn't care as long as it didn't get hacked, right? Security, you worried about if there's a lack of it and something bad happens, but it's not like I fell in love with BlackBerry because of security. So initially it was about being connected. Then, I got my other friends on it. We all got connected. We start CrackBerry because I'm addicted to my BlackBerry now. And then over time, my seeds of BlackBerry passion changed. At first, very quickly, it was the CrackBerry community that I fell in love with more than the BlackBerry phone, right? for a while there, all BlackBerry was sending me as a company standpoint was freaking takedown letters for like devices. They didn't like our domain name CrackBerry. I mean, BlackBerry the company, I was pretty much like this for a while. I think anybody else probably would have just quit what they were doing because BlackBerry the company actually made it extremely hard for Kevin, the CrackBerry guy, to really love the company. So thank God I loved CrackBerry for a long time because that was the passion. It wasn't even BlackBerry the company for the longest time. Then the products at that point were awesome, but they were never perfect, right? We'd get a new phone, we'd love it, but we'd bitch about it. Then we'd say what we wanted to do better, and then the leaks would start on the next phone, and then it became this awesome cycle of productive sort of products getting launched. We got into a great rhythm for a couple of years there, and the CrackBerry community exploded. So I fell in love with CrackBerry. The products were good. I still wasn't a huge fan of the company because they made my life difficult in some cases, but fine. Then things start to change again, right? We get a new CEO at BlackBerry, and all of a sudden overnight the relationship with the company from CrackBerry got to where it should have been from day one. People who appreciated the community of users, that CrackBerry is the community of BlackBerry users. Despite, I'd say, BlackBerry building their own social and all that stuff, I mean, the enthusiasts, the users are on CrackBerry. And, for me, over time, I continued to love BlackBerry. I still love BlackBerry today. But then all of a sudden, I started to get to know a lot more of the people at the company. And given when the challenges for BlackBerry kicked in, then there's other reasons to love it. Like, hey, I'm Canadian. This is a Canadian tech company. I want to see it succeed. Part of the underdog story happens too. I love cheering for underdogs. I don't want to have what everybody has. When I got my first BlackBerry, it was like being in a club where you meet another guy or girl with a BlackBerry. It's like, yeah, because not a lot of people had them. And then when BlackBerry got really popular and you saw it everywhere, I was like, oh, everybody's got a BlackBerry now. You can't just walk up to strangers and make friends because they have a BlackBerry. Maybe Adam does, or maybe he never did either of that.
What?
So the seeds of the BlackBerry passion change. But for me, when I got my first BlackBerry and we launched CrackBerry, it was never this thing of like, I hate every other tech platform. You have to draw your line. If you love BlackBerry, you don't love BlackBerry, and that's the way it is. I mean, I love connected tech. I love having a connected lifestyle. Do you want me to keep going? Because I'm going to.
You're talking a very long time, so you might want to wrap it up.
I'm being loquacious.
You're being extremely loquacious.
The bottom line is, to suggest I can't do more than one thing, you don't know me very well because I'm a multitasker to the extreme. To suggest I can't love more than one thing is ridiculous.
Really? Sorry to interrupt you, but you sound a lot like Kevin O'Leary right now. It's kind of freaking me out.
Okay, I don't even know who that is. Oh wait, I do know who he is. He was the guy too. Number two, to suggest I can't love more than one thing, that's like saying Adam can't love both of his kids equally. He has to pick one or the other, and he can't love both. And never mind his wife. He's only capable of that. So for me, it's like, I love tech. I love new products. I've always been, me and my fiance have a problem where we like to shop. I like to buy tech stuff. She likes to buy clothing. But, we don't have kids yet, so luckily we can sort of afford to do it. So I like all this stuff. So, CrackBerry these days, what do I love about it? I mean, I love the devices. I don't always love everything about them. I'm often very critical of what I want to see happen to them because I want them to get better. I'm not going to wait. I love this connected space that's happening because going back to the reason why I fell in love with BlackBerry to begin with, being connected, that's what the new connected space we're in is all about, right? It's connecting my light bulbs, my music, my toothbrush, my whatever. That to me is the future. That's the world I always wanted to live in from being a kid, and now it's happening. So, yes, CrackBerry is focused on BlackBerry, and I always will be committed and like BlackBerry, but I'm not, and love BlackBerry, but I'm not going to not partake in where the world's going because of that. So I'm going to do multiple things. And connectedly, I'm super excited about because it builds upon everything we've done. The other thing, too, that people need to realize, and I'm sorry I'm being loquacious here, is the CrackBerry community doesn't just start and stop at CrackBerry. Visit our other sites in the network. I mean, CrackBerry was its biggest a few years ago. Many people have left BlackBerry for other phones. They have gone to our other communities. I can go on to Android Central. I can go on to iMore, WP Central in the forums, and people welcome me with open arms because they love BlackBerry. They had a BlackBerry. They loved CrackBerry. They loved CrackBerry Kevin and Adam and Blaze. They still like us, even though they don't have the phone anymore. And they're very embracing of us because they realize people change. It's not an expectation that you commit to something for life, right? I mean, we have a little bit different of a story going on. We provide a service. We love what we do. We're passionate about it. But it's not like this start, stop, cut, dry thing. And so it's kind of funny that the CrackBerry members who have a problem from time to time, the other people who've already left or on other sites or something like that, they still love it. They love CrackBerry. They understand, challenges BlackBerry's through, and they have warm, fuzzy feelings about their BlackBerries. And then some of the people who are most active on BlackBerry today seem to just have the most aggravation with it. Whereas, I don't know. So it's kind of a silly thing overall. Maybe we want to edit this out, Adam. It's a long rant.
We can't. It goes straight into YouTube, and that's it. You're stuck with it.
Why did you bring this up?
Because I knew you'd like to talk about it and stretch
No, I mean, it's kind of silly to me, but I get it.
You can stop whenever you want.
Does that give you a better history of what's going on here?
I didn't really catch that first part. Would you mind starting over?
Are you joking with me?
Yeah, I'm joking with you.
No, so my thing is, it's not cut and dry. There's a lot of seeds of changing reasons why I've loved BlackBerry over the years. Obviously, the game has changed. I can love many things. I can work on many things. Do you see how much energy I have? Are you going to tell me I can't do more than one thing or love more than one thing? Because I am going to lose my shit. And, sorry.
About 20 different things right now.
What?
I said you're thinking about 20 different things right now.
Yeah. No, it's all good. So
we appreciate everyone's time. And we're sorry we haven't been recording, but Kevin's actually been traveling extremely often. And this was the first week that he was home in Winnipeg, and then I think he's picking up and leaving again this weekend. So we tried to sneak the guy in while we had the chance. So hopefully,
I'm just gonna sit around and do my own damn podcast.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, hey, BlackBerry Live. Do you remember the year we did like the never-ending podcast?
I remember the year that we were up at like 4 in the morning.
It was like a 4-hour-long podcast. So what's the rush to stop now? This is like the never-ending podcast part 2.
I'm in no rush. I could sit here and podcast all day.
I can't really.
People used to love our never-ending podcasts.
Sure. Maybe they just said
drunk. I feel like it's almost my birthday. Can I start drinking now?
You can start drinking whenever you want.
You're not already drunk.
Could you look up Loquacious? Because I don't know how to spell it.
I'll look it up later. That's the name of this podcast. I just decided.
Loquacious.
That's how I'll figure out how to spell it.
That's a better one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to write that editorial anymore tomorrow.
I don't know that you have to because you just laid it all out.
You just saved me an hour.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we just tell people to listen to the podcast if they have a problem with Kevin or anything. Perfect. Adam or Blaze.
Kevin is crazy.
Keep this podcast on speed dial just in case.
I will say, too, I think, I might... what else can we talk about? Sage Michaels? No. New York? I might move to New York.
No.
For a year or two.
No.
If he moves to New York, I'm taking over his condo.
You want to rent it? Because I need to rent it out to somebody. I want to be a better uncle to Cassidy.
Oh, boy.
Who else am I going to play with connected toys?
Tyler will play with you all day long.
Yeah, Tyler will.
I'll play with both of them.
Monkey Drive competition.
I'm ordering a bunch of robots, and I'm going to build my own Blaze army here.
So, I will say that's one thing that if I were BlackBerry, I would really be working on making sure that Android capability for connected stuff works well, right? Like getting things like Sonos and Philips Hue and all that working. Because if companies aren't building native right away, I want to be able to use my BB10 phone with everything connected that comes out.
I agree.
I almost think that's more important than having like Google Play access.
Yeah, I think stuff like that too. Even look at like the Pebble app and stuff like that. Like, I think everything should. If it works and connected to outside things, then it would make life a lot easier.
Too hot under this light. I need to come closer to this.
That's okay, because we're about done anyway.
Thank God. I love CrackBerry podcasts. I love CrackBerry.
Hopefully we'll be back in 2 weeks or so to do this all over again.
When's the next earnings report? Is that a ways away? Because I like when.
Yeah, we just had one like a month ago, so it's going to be another couple months.
Yes. Okay, so let's make a pledge right now that whatever the status is of the next one, we don't get depressed over it.
I never get depressed. The only thing I got depressed about was that DevCon like 2 years ago.
Oh, that was depressing. That was the worst.
It was the lowest point of my life.
It must have been a dark moment in history.
Everything is amazing since that.
That was pretty bad. So I think we're going to pack it in here, but we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in loquaciously. I don't know if that's how you use that word, but we'll pretend.
Yeah, I found it. Loquacious. Loquacious. The phonetical.
I highly doubt that it's loquash.
Loquacious. Tending to talk a great deal. Talkative. Synonyms.
Just
Talkative.
change your name to Loquacious instead of Cage Michaels.
Loquacious.
That could be your superhero name.
I'm Loquacious. Don't miss
Anyway, my name is Adam. That's Kevin. It's Blaze.
Howdy.
Quite possibly the worst ending we've had in a podcast in quite some
Hey.
time.
What? And it's all your fault. I wasn't gonna go into this stuff at all. And then you like just set me off.
Bus again.
Oh wait, we were throwing each other under buses.
Look out, bus! Here he comes.
You know, sorry, I take it back. I didn't mean that. It's all your awesomeness, Adam.
You can send us off then.
That's it for this one, everybody. Please keep watching our shows when we post them. Visit crackberry.com daily. Keep the faith. Spread the word. BlackBerry 10 is really good. So if people don't know that, you need to tell them it could be exactly what they want in a mobile operating system platform. Send them to crackberry.com. Download the CB10 app, and visit Connectedly, because we'll be there a little bit too when we have stuff that we want to talk about.
This is like CrackBerry podcast episode 1 all over again.
Did you see Craig Johnston's post yesterday on the blogs? I didn't even see that one coming. I just read it on the site, and he was like, because BlackBerry is gonna allow other MDM solutions to manage their phones.
We should have had Craig on to talk about that. What happened?
Yeah, actually, if he listens to this, which I don't think he'll listen this far, we should have him. But he had questions, though, so I think we should follow up, because it's kind of a crazy announcement, right?
We should follow up.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to say goodbye, because it's almost my birthday. We could just talk for 8 more hours.
I don't know if that's
almost my birthday. We can talk for 8 more hours.
I'm about to hit the button regardless of
I don't
whether
even want to work anymore today. I just want to have fun.
I'm not working anymore today. I'm going to go cook dinner and hang out with my
CrackBerry addicts just want to have fun. That could be the...
No, Loquacious.
Loquacious?
Definitely Loquacious.
You just say Loquacious after minute 36 or whatever we were at. Okay. I feel like I regressed. I mean, do I seem like I'm turning 34? I feel more like I'm 14.
You're acting like you're 14.
Yes. It's my 3rd quarter-life crisis. I just need to live to 140.
Okay, I'm going to go. I have stuff to do.
You'll be calling us later in the morning. You know that, Adam.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Bye, everybody. That's it for this one. Kevin.
See you. Bye.
I love you guys, and I'm very sorry for this podcast.
It's because there was no BlackBerry Live. We should be doing it there in Orlando drunk.
Kevin forever. Bye.
Bye.